All right, we're gonna start this by punching from the back side. So every part that's going to be loopy, we're gonna punch that first. So I've got my punch needle, and this punch needle comes with 2 wire threaders, which are gonna come in handy because you most certainly will lose or break one of them. And if that happens, don't worry, you can use some jewelry wire or some floral wire, something similar to this, just fold it in half, put a sticker on top, and you are ready to go. So now I'm going to show you how to thread the needle. And I'm going to start with the color that I'm using for my berries. And let's see. All right. So the first thing you're going to do is insert the wire threader all the way down the shaft of the needle so that it is coming out the bottom. So this is the top of your needle, this is the bottom of your needle, and we want that wire threader coming out the bottom. So if the threader is coming out the top, you have gone the wrong direction. Flip it, insert from tip to tail. And I'm just gonna run a inch or so, a couple of inches through that wire threader, and that is going to pull the yarn up and through. So now your needle is halfway threaded. We still need to thread the eye of the needle. What you can do, you can use that threader if you want to, but what I do is just pinch my yarn, push it through that eye, then I can pull it, and we only need a couple of inches of excess at the bottom. Now, really important here, you can see that this angled edge, where you can see the open part of the needle, I can see the yarn going down into the shaft, that is the front side of your needle. And that's important because you are going to reference that as you're punching. So when we start any section, the first thing you're going to do, and we don't need super long tails here, you only need about, an inch or so. The first thing you're going to do when you start a section is push all the way down to the handle. Okay, so I've punched all the way down to the handle. My needle cannot go any further. And what I'm gonna do is flip over to this front side, and I'm just gonna pull that little yarn tail through to the front. Okay, doing that is going to make it a lot harder to accidentally unravel your work while you're working on the back side. So now I want to make my next stitch. I'm going to bring my needle up just enough where the tip of the needle is still in the fabric. I'm moving forward about 1/4 of an inch, and I punch all the way down again. So drag and stab. Now I am rotating my needle so that that open part, that angled edge that I showed you earlier, is facing the direction I'm going. So punch down. And you'll notice that my yarn is able to flow freely from the ball of the yarn all the way through my needle. I'm not grabbing it. I'm not holding on to it. It's not stuck under my arm. It's not stuck under the frame. It's able to flow freely. And that's important because if it can't, your stitches will not stay. All right, I have finished punching that little section. And I'm done, and I'm going to do something similar to what I did on that first stitch. Grab my snippers, and that is when I start to pull my needle away, I'm grabbing the yarn underneath, can trim it, and I'm going to pull the end of that tail through to the front. So now I have loops, but I also have 2 yarn tails. And you can clip those now, or you can wait to clip them at the very end. And we're gonna do that again. So I recommend, if you are punching where you have a loopy and a flat stitch side displayed, start with the loops because it's gonna be a lot easier to do it that way. Going in. Now it's typically about 4 stitches per inch. You don't want to overpack your work. It's also okay if you still see some monk's cloth through your stitches, especially when you're displaying the loopy side. We don't want to overpack our work because that will make it look like it's bulging on the front. It is also going to use up a lot of yarn. So it's okay if you leave a little bit of space between those rows and between your stitches. Okay, so I'm going to finish up these berries, and then I'll show you how we can change sections and how to punch the body of the project. Okay, so I finished punching up those berries. I trimmed my tails, they're super cute. And now I'm gonna move on to another section. So I'm gonna show you in the next video how to get the right stitch gauge, how to change sections, and how to make sure that you're not overpacking your stitches and using more yarn than you need. So meet me in the next video with your needle and your next color.